All right, we've got Coach Mortensen up here, and he's going to start with an opening statement.
Yeah, I'm going to start with a statement. Before we talk about the game, I do want to address what happened this morning. As you've heard, we have one player in police custody and two players who are in stable condition after sustaining injuries. More than anything, I'm grateful that those two players are in stable condition, and we will make sure that they have the support that they need. I hope you will join me in lifting them and their families in your thoughts and prayers, as our team is doing right now too. And I also ask that you'll please respect their privacy as they deal with what happened. Due to privacy concerns and the ongoing nature of the police investigation, I can't provide any further details about the incident or the individuals involved. The team as a whole decided they wanted to play today, but we did have several players who understandably chose to sit out, and we certainly respect that decision. Our priority remains the health and well-being of our student athletes, and we want to make sure they have access to take advantage of the support and resources available to them. I'm really proud of this team, the way they came together and competed today, even with heavy hearts. This allowed our seniors to compete in their last game at Protective, and it's a testament to our team's dedication to each other and to UAB. If you have any questions about the game, I'll take them at this time. But I'd actually like to start with an opening statement first. The first thing, obviously, again, as I just mentioned, it was definitely a tough day. Outside of football, but getting to the football, South Florida, obviously a very good team. This is a team that came in here highly regarded. They beat Florida earlier in the year. They're a 2-loss team. They're the 5th offense in the country, and so I have a lot of respect for them and for Coach Golish and the job they've done there. We obviously, this was a tight game for a half. I think it was a 1-score game going in the half. It's 17-10. I thought our defense, had a tall order today. I thought they competed really well in the game, and I think offensively we tried to play complementary to help them a little bit. South Florida today, and we had some guys make plays. Let me say that. I thought our backs ran hard. The offensive line tried to compete hard as they could. South Florida did a good job. They really loaded the box today, and played tight, a lot of tight man coverage. We were without. Obviously, people know we're out without Corey Milner at receiver. We're also without Xavier Daisy and Caleb Brown out there today too. So those are things that we obviously had to work and game plan around. I thought the guys that were out there, did step up as much as they could. Obviously, Iverson Hooks had a pretty big day. But I think we missed some opportunities. We had some opportunities. While there were some good things that kept us in that game, we had opportunities where we were able to get some people open that maybe we couldn't get it to them, whether that was a decision or whether that was protection related. You can go back on the iPad and see it, where I think our staff we did a good job putting some things together, and guys did a good job executing their part, minus a player or two on a play, and then some of it too. Just we also have to win. South Florida, a lot of it they turn it into a man-to-man game. In a game about winning those matchups, and so they did a good job in the game too on winning on some of those, and we won on some of ours. But we've got to win on a more consistent basis when someone says, hey, they're going to challenge you in that manner and not play softer zone. But again, it was a tough day. It was a tough day for a lot of our guys, and really appreciate the way that they fought and competed today. Really did. I'll take any questions you have at this time.
What was the process of deciding you were going to play? Kind of what went into that?
Without going into a lot of detail, we had we spoke as a team, and we spoke with the team, and those guys really wanted to play today, and the conversation went back to the seniors. With it being senior day, they wanted to go play for them, and give them an opportunity to go out and compete and play. So that was probably the biggest thing.
And with it being an emotional day, with all that, what was the pregame? Kind of how did you handle pregame and try to, I guess get the players locked in and that type of thing? What was pregame like?
Right. Yeah. One, I think we want to be very, sympathetic to what everyone's going through, and made sure everyone understood they had an opportunity to, seek counseling or anything that they needed or wanted, and that we were here to help them. The university was here to help them. I thought our administration, Mark Ingram, and the whole staff really stepped up to try to support our players and help them. And so they knew that there was help available if they needed it and wanted it. And then upon, guys deciding they wanted to play, it was really just getting focused back on the task at hand. And, we have a process and a routine that we go through in pregame. And I think, staying committed to that probably helped guys just, get refocused on the job.
Alex, between the coaching change and now this, obviously this program's been through a lot over the past month. How do you, as the interim coach, how do you handle something like this, and how do you want to finish strong here next week?
Yeah, look, the team has been through a lot, certainly, over the last couple months. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, sympathetic to what, some of people have been through and our team. And so it will continue to be. And we've got things in place to do that. And then two, it's like, there's a game next week. So we're going to go compete. That's the way I'm wired. It's the way I've always been wired. And so, we're going to get to work. And, and I think the guys will too, and I think too, it's like part of our job is, in coaching, coaching is about teaching too. And, there's a lot to learn from this game, and we'll do that. We'll talk about, hey, here are the things we did well. And look, here's the things that would have helped you win this game or would have kept us in it into the fourth quarter. And so, it's no different, than from that standpoint, the technical corrections we've got to make to help these guys, help our team, and then help these guys develop as players. So that part, will be status quo. We'll just try to do it better.
You guys had a lot of guys defensively that didn't play today for, various reasons. And I thought you played well defensively earlier. Did you feel like you maybe kind of wore down with what they do and also being a little shorthanded?
Yeah, look, I think, what the guys that were out there, the guys that weren't there understand. And the guys that were there, I think it's admirable what they did. And I think they probably did wear down a little bit. We were a little bit concerned about the fatigue part of it. It's, if you look at time of possession, we tried to hold on to the ball as much as we could. Maybe even more conservative in some respects than we wanted to be. But I do think that happened a little bit. But give South Florida credit; they're a very good team. So I don't want to, make an excuse. But I think there were, one hand on offense, it was the receiver attrition of having three really good players out. And then on defense, obviously the guys that we weren't able to have today, presented some challenges. But, you've got to be ready to adapt if you're going to do this.
And what was postgame like with just everything that happened and just kind of, again, the emotions of the day? I mean, what was it like, once the game was done?
Yeah, look, I think the thing that was very evident to me is these guys love each other. And, I think the team is close. They really care for each other. And look, I would say this too. I'm not one to lecture fans or any of that. Like, this is a profession and a business that's about winning and competing. And so I know there are going to be people that are frustrated. Like, believe me, I am too. And there are things that I know we can fix and get better at. But I do hope that everyone, the guys that went out there today and fought, I hope they respect what they did and understand, what they went through today and how hard they fought and how much they care about each other and representing this university and this program well. And I thought they went out and did that and did it with class today. I really did. And
just football-wise, with again, with the turnovers and some key penalties, kind of how much of that do you think was just the motion of the day, and how much of it was just execution?
Look, to me, once you get in the game, you've got to get focused on the game. So I think part of the challenge of football is you talk about, and again, this is an unusual situation, so we want to be sympathetic to it, but you have to try to block out external factors. When you come to practice, once you step between the white lines, like, you've got to try to block out external factors, and so that's something that, so I think, I'm not going to put that on anything else. I think we have to do a good job of executing there. I think on offense, what I can say specifically is there was a comedy of errors there for a stretch on third down, where we had a multitude of false starts, and and it was really bad. And South Florida was stemming their front, pre-snap, and they have verbal calls. They do that. It's legal. As long as they're not simulating your count, you can do that. And that's something we work on. We actually do it daily. But it's something where we've got to just stay more focused and not so anxious in a situation like that, and make sure we're in tune with each other's voice and each other's cadence. So that was really the underlying cause there. I don't think there was anything other than that.
Alex, the players that wanted to play this morning, what were they like amidst all the emotion there, and what was their message to each other, just to say we've got a game to play amidst all this?
Yeah, I think one, there was real cause and concern for their teammates. That's really genuine, and again, without going into a lot of detail. And then, the thing that I've always felt, and I think most people that would tell you that have been involved in anything sports at any point in your life, whether it's Pee Wee football all the way up to the NFL, is the best teams are usually player-led teams, and it's something that something that we've wanted to try to create. Something I've wanted to try to create a little bit. And but I will say this: there were a lot of guys that stepped up and led the day. Vocally, verbally, that maybe in the past that's really not been their nature or their personality. And I thought they really banded together on, and again, I think making it about something other than themselves. Thinking about, okay, some of these guys, it's going to be their last time to run out in protective. They've got 2 college football games left, and making it more about them, not making it about, their own ambitions or their own goals, but making it about them, and then making it about the school and the university. So that was a lot of the rhetoric that I heard. And the other part I heard too is just, how no matter what, like, we're staying together. We're not going to let anything tear us apart.
All right, Coach, thank you.
Thank you.